Good morning. It is 8:23, I think. That's what it said. I think I know what my next trip is going to be. I'm going to be going to Florida, I think, to see my buddy. Um he he was the one who was struggling, had some mental health stuff that I was just worried about. Um Originally I was like, oh, maybe I can just like a pop by while I'm here, but he it's gonna be better, I think, if I head back home first and then schedule something when he's kind of has his like situational a bit more stable. But yeah, so I think I'll be probably doing that in maybe the beginning of April. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, I was just texting him. I woke up and I texted him a response to let him know that I'll come visit. But um, I'm really glad Uh, oh, I just realized. I don't know. I'll probably post the random 5 in the morning. Or was it 5? It was like 4. The random 4 in the morning video. Probably first. So you guys will just randomly see me post this video before any of my other stuff, which is really funny. Um, I'm just thinking about how like uh these like face cam like leg in bed fucking uh videos, you guys won't be like subject to them yet. So the first one is gonna be, yeah, it's it's 4 in the morning and I just had an epiphany on the universe, so I should tell you. Um which, by the way, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. It's probably my most important video. Even more important than the shadow work, because this video talks about like obviously the shadow work is important. Don't get me wrong. But this video is like, hey, if you want to know why the shadow work is important, it's because this is kind of the outcome. You do the shadow work, you get the party. You don't do the shadow work, you don't get the party. And you'll, if you know, the knowers know what I'm referencing with the party. So go watch the video. What are you still doing here? Oh, you want to hear the rest of my morning spiel? Okay, fine. You can go watch it after. Um, mm, I don't have too much to say. I had a really. I realized I was lucid dreaming. I'm pretty sure, very momentarily. Which I will just say I have never lucid dreamed before, so it didn't. Okay, I'll say maybe it wasn't a full like lucid dream, but it definitely felt way too real in the moment. So I don't even remember what it fully was about. I just remember literally seeing from the eyes of someone. It was like the most bizarre, because everything was like, it was like I was like in reality. And I remember being in the eyes of someone, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I was just having a normal dream. And then I remember in my dream suddenly having this vision of like someone walking around and looking around, and everything was in sharp detail compared to like the like dreamy dream state that I normally experience, where it's like, yeah, things are kind of exist, but it has that dream quality to where it's like ethereal. But with this, it was literally like there were cameras in the eyes of this person, and I was getting a rotoscope like panning um of this like apartment, or I don't know, place. There was like a curly dog. There was like a couch. Um and the person was just looking around, and like it was so weird. Like I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that. And then in my head I was like, this is a new power. And I'm like, what? uh and I was like, even I in the dream was like, really? And I don't know. Like now I'm like, well, fuck. Am I gonna suddenly start seeing through people's eyes randomly? That's gonna be so weird if that happens. Um, I mean, I guess I'll keep you guys posted on that. Like, that's gonna blow my fucking mind if that ever happens. At least in the dream, it's like plausible deniability. It was a dream, right? Even though, like, it was a very vivid dream. And I only got it for a moment. Um, I just remember the curly dog and the couch really well. I also think the person was maybe an adult. Is that the like distance from the ground was like, I'm not sure if it was higher or lower than me. I don't know. I just knew that it wasn't me, and it was like I was seeing through someone because I couldn't control the body or anything. Um, but yeah, wow, what a bizarre experience. Again, I'll have to just keep that kind of, I don't know. I'm gonna write down my journal, my sleep journal, and then kind of, if something like that happens again, obviously, once is like, okay, that's an interesting experience, but twice is like, okay, maybe there's something to this. Three times is like, okay, that's a pattern. What the fuck is happening, right? I will say, if I'm like walking around or like meditating or something, and I suddenly just like am in the eyes of someone else, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like it's gonna be weird. Like I won't panic, but it'll be like, Okay, why am I seeing this? Um, yeah. Part of me is like, that'd be kind of cool as like a power, but like, feels kind of creepy. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess if it's important, like, okay, here's an example. If I could pick who I would do this to, that's creepy, right? Where it's like, I'm gonna look at Bob across the street, and then suddenly I'm in Bob's eyes. That would be like totally creepy. Like, I don't know if I'd want to like have that kind of power. um, but if it was more like, um, I'm just like meditating or whatever, and then suddenly like I pop into the eyes of someone, and it's like something really important is like happening that I need to know about. Okay, well then at that point, like, fine, no problem. Um, I mean, I guess one could argue if you had the first power that I was explaining, maybe I'm writing that off a bit too soon, because obviously, if you have that power, you can choose what you do with it, right? With a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility. So it's like, okay, well, you obviously would use it for good. Well, okay, I obviously would use it for good. At least that's my thoughts on it. Is like, I don't know how I would use it for like anything, because it's kind of like I guess I would just have to understand what the point of the thing was. Because just seeing a random snippet of someone's life, I don't know what that's going to accomplish. But if it's like someone needs help, as an example, where it's like maybe someone is like really really depressed, and they're like sitting on the couch and they're crying, and they're like, I wish that someone would like comfort me or whatever. That could be useful, because then it's like, okay, well, obviously I don't know where this person is, but maybe becoming the geoguesser guy, that guy that's just like, oh, I know where that is. I seen that bush and that slight deviation of the sun. It's here, and then like zooms in on like this very specific spot. So I guess if you combine the geoguesser with this vision, suddenly the geoguesser can be like, the person that is in trouble is right here. So, and that's obviously that's him like using his fingers to like zoom in, you know. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, either that or like getting an address or something. That'd be really funny, like, okay, I'm having this vision. Where is this coming from? Well, the vision also gave me a convenient address that I could like I could go to. Uh yeah. Just knock on the door. Hi. So I just saw you crying, and I figured I wanted to say hi. The person's like, "What the fuck? Who are you?" It's like, "Where's the cameras?" I'm like, "No, I saw through your eyes." What? Fuck off! What do you mean? uh, but yeah, I don't know. I honestly like again, like I don't even know like what you'd really use that for. And I'll say the obvious thing is like being a creep, right? And like that's like totally an off limits thing. You just if you had something like that, you just can't do that. Like number one, you're gonna get a lot of negative karma if you were to do something like that. Number two, just morally, it's just like it's so fucked up that it's like people deserve their privacy. So I mean, we can go through a whole like privacy thing on like our phones effectively have given all of our privacy away to some nameless, soulless company, but I'm not going to really get into the specifics on that. But yeah, like I don't know. There would have to be a really good reason why something like this would show up. And, again, I would have to actually know. Like, okay, well, what is this? Like, you're giving this to me as like a thing. What the fuck is this supposed to be used for? So, I guess context matters, right? Anyway, I got a little in the weeds on this like one-off thing that you know I mean, I guess if it happens again, then we're gonna have to really come into like a conversation here of like what the fuck is happening. But for now, it was just a dream that was kind of bizarre. um oh no, it's happening again. No, I'm kidding. Okay. um oh no, there's a there's a strange guy that's filming. I can see through his eyes. Wait, that's me. um okay, I'm done. um I'm kind of I mean, I guess I'll just say it. I kind of am wondering about, I've been talking a lot about powers this morning, I guess. Um, I, I know that my hands have something healing power wise. It's just there. I just don't know how to fucking use it. And then the obvious thing is, well, did you use it on yourself? I don't fucking understand what I'm doing with myself. Hell, I don't know if I'd understand what I'm doing with other people, but I think intuitively healing other people would be easier than healing myself, which is really weird. Um, because I don't know, like so I have this. I'll just say the thing. This is gonna sound fucking nuts, okay? I don't even know if I want to say this. Because I know there's gonna be so much judgment here. Fuck it. I'll just say it. Okay, so I've been doing a test the past like 2 days where I thought, okay, if I have this connection with this like, I don't know if it's a twin flame, a soulmate, a divine partner, whatever you want to call it. This person that I keep like feeling internally. I figure if I have this connection, shouldn't I be able to send like messages? So I was like, okay, fuck it. Well, I'm gonna start by just talking. So the past like couple nights I've just been talking. With the intention of like sending whatever the equivalent of like understanding of what I'm saying to this person. I don't fucking know if it works. You know, again, this is all like random. Where it's like, well, maybe it'll work. So I'm like, okay, I'll just try it. You know, the worst thing that comes of this, if it didn't work, is I was just fucking talking to myself in the middle of the night before I was going to bed, which is fine, right? So it's like, yeah. But so while I was talking last night, I was like, I had my eyes closed, and I suddenly like saw this like, I don't know, it's like it's almost kind of like a like, if you've ever seen these digital like human silhouettes with like semi x-ray like bone muscle, like, I don't know, like x-rays that, like, you know, there's like graphics of or whatever for, oh yes, this is where the kidney is, and then they'll be like highlighted in red. Well, I felt / saw in my like mind's eye this just pop into my head, because I was thinking about like, I'm like, man, I really wish I could like practice my healing stuff, because I don't know what it's supposed to look like, but like I really do want to like practice. And I saw an image of the like, it was like an image with a highlighted piece that was like the side that was like red. And instinctively I was like, okay, I think like I'm getting an opportunity here to just like test it. So I'm like, all right. Now I'm assuming, again, there's a lot of assumptions here. I'm like 5 million assumptions deep here. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to assume that this is that divine partner person or whatever. And she's having some like back problem or something, or like a side thing or whatever it is. So I just started like doing the like channel thing that I can like, I feel my hands doing, where it's like right now I'm holding my hand up and I can just feel energy like radiating out of my hand. And I started practicing like, okay, well, just shooting the energy out doesn't really seem to do anything to this red thing, because the red thing was just still there. So I'm like, okay, well, what if I did it as like waves. Because I remember the Reiki person did the wave thing on my feet. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. So I started layering it like waves, and I kind of imagined this like, you know how, you know those really satisfying like, there's like videos out there where it's like people do really satisfying like pouring concrete exactly perfect and then they straighten it out and it's great or whatever. Those types of videos. I kind of think of it almost like this perfectly laying of some sort of like, it's not like toothpaste because it's way wider, but if you would imagine like pouring out toothpaste and then overlapping it like this to where the toothpaste you keep like going like that, like across, where each of the layers is like this. If you catch my drift. If you don't understand, that's fine. But like but I was imagining doing that to the area. And like the area like dimmed a little bit and then disappeared. The red disappeared. And I was like, huh, okay. Again, lots of assumptions. But I was like, well, since I have this like image in my head, what if I just went to different parts of the body to see if there's like anything red there and then just do the thing? So I did. I just went all over to check to see. And I just went to the different parts that were red and I did the thing and then the red disappeared and then I went to the next thing. And yeah, then I was just done. And I was like, okay, well, so I wrote it down as like, okay, when I meet this person, I'm going to ask them if in the middle of the night they suddenly got relief in these areas. And I wrote down all the areas that I did it in my mind's eye. Because, again, now, I'm going to preface this. I don't know this person as of right now in like physical reality. I feel like there's definitely a soul connection that transcends physical where like we've known each other for a long time, many lifetimes. But in this lifetime, we don't know each other, right? So for all intents and purposes, this is a random person that I feel a connection to, but that I can't prove, okay? And I wrote down a bunch of stuff that I did from my perception, okay? And I think I can actually list off most of them. So there was like this like lower back pain. There was like right side pain. I don't remember which leg there was a problem, but there was like one of the legs, the calf, was having an issue. Both hands were having issues. And then their head was really fucked up. I don't know what was going on there, but it was like red all over. So that took a while to get rid of the red there. And then I think it was like the right like ass cheek. So it's just, there was like something there. I think it was like a hip problem or something. Yeah, I wasn't too sure. And then after, just another thing, after all of that was done, I kept noticing that the side that I had like sent the stuff and gotten rid of the red, there was like slowly red being built up again, which leads me to believe, and I don't know why I think this, but I feel really sure about this, that the person sleeps on their right side a lot. Because I think they were sleeping and there was a slow buildup. So maybe their bed is really bad for side sleeping or something, but they're like in pain on their right side while sleeping. So okay, so I've documented again the current me. This is like what, the 20, it's Sunday. I think it's the 22nd of March. I mean, that sounds right. I can't show you on my phone because obviously my phone is what I'm using. Um, but like, I'm in the hotel. Um, I mean, there's nothing weird in the hotel, so I can kind of pan around and show you real quick. Um, okay. Hopefully I didn't. I'm pretty sure I didn't show anything weird. Not that I have anything weird out. It's just, you know. Um, but anyway, so like I'm at the latter part of my stay here. So really, this is like the perfect like marker of like. Now, to be fair, if later today or tomorrow I meet this person, obviously like that's gonna be some weird timing, right? But assuming that like, I mean, even if it does, like whatever. But like, my point is, I'm filming this in the morning, and again, I have no clue about any of this stuff. So the reason I'm being so specific is because this is going to be a way for me, like, if no one believes me, fuck them, that's fine. But like, for me, if I ask when I meet this person about these issues and they say, oh yeah, suddenly they're just fine, and they are issues that they were having, well, that's going to tell me a lot. um, that's going to tell me that it is very much a thing where distance seems to not matter. And I can just, as long as I lock in on the person, I can just kind of get into that same sense and then try it out. And I don't need to know what the person's having problems with. I just find the red areas and do my thing, right? Um, so, again, right now, I have no fucking clue. I'm kind of wondering. I'll have to test this on a few people that are willing. I know this sounds weird. I got the feeling that the divine counterpart was totally fine with it. That's why I kind of went and did that. I even asked before. I was like, "Hey, is this like cool?" And then when I asked, that's when the like thing popped up. because I was like just talking about like, oh yeah, like it'd be nice to be able to like, test my healing stuff, and hey, would that be cool? I don't know how that's gonna look. And then the thing popped up. So I feel like that was like consent or something, um, in some way. Which again, it obviously it doesn't make sense, but that's like, yeah. Um. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna go. I need to get ready for the morning. So I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Bye.
Greetings. It is 11:53. I got food. And yeah, I guess I'll show the food. It's a little bit different. It's similar to what they did yesterday. Uh, Probably going to be a short one because I talked for a while earlier. Okay. As you can see, there's I mean, I imagine these are mango. Some pico de gallo. There's no broccoli today, but that's okay. I got what's it called? Zucchini. And then there's a little artichoke heart there at the bottom. And then everything's on a bed of like their vegetable salad like mix, whatever. And then this is where I went a little bit different because I did not want to have the beans because it looked like they had used the bones again. So instead, I got, they had some mashed potato. It looked a little bit different than normal mashed potatoes, so I'm not sure what's going on with it. I'll know. I like these guys. Don't know what this said banana. And so I was like, oh, maybe it's like a mashed banana turned into this like floppy guy. So I thought that was fun. And then you can see below there's some for lack of a better term, it really is just noodles and some like spaghetti sauce. Mainly just noodles because I couldn't get a lot of the spaghetti sauce because their little gripper guy, it's like a little scooper, but it has no, like, it's not a ladle. So you can't ladle out any of the juice. So I don't know. Anyway. I think I'm lacking a little on the protein today, but I don't know. I didn't get any of the quinoa. I just wasn't feeling it, so I didn't get it. I've been trying to listen to my intuition of like, when doing this like pick whatever my intuition is calling, I'll just get it. That's why I got this, and that's also why I got the potatoes, even though the potatoes look a little sus. Maybe they didn't like mix them better or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, um, I I'm actually running out of space on my phone, which I didn't even think about that being a problem. So I uploaded everything onto the laptop, and at some point today, I'm gonna be like working through getting that compiled into videos that then I can upload to YouTube. So I don't know if I think today is the last day. I'll have to check. But like, yeah. So I'm probably gonna be using DaVinci to like compile stuff as I'm going around my day. Um definitely at least while I'm like eating, I can probably get at least one compile on like a video. Like the plane day where I just like was on the plane. Um, that one should be really easy because it's just two videos slapped together with no editing. Day one, there is some editing I need to do because I think I doxed myself at one point. I don't really remember, but I think I dragged them off to their own separate thing so that I could remember it. Um, Other than that, like everything else has been pretty much just like just slap in there and don't really need to edit. I'm obviously gonna watch it before I post it, but yeah, regardless. Um, I haven't even looked at the channel in a week, so don't really know if there's any catastrophic things that have happened on the channel that I just wasn't aware of. Uh, haven't looked at the emails, so I guess catching up on that at some point. I'm definitely going to Central Park though. Um, yeah, I just really like Central Park, so I want to walk, do some stuff. I feel like I've definitely been losing weight. Like I'm almost certain that I've lost weight since I've been here because I've been walking around so much and like doing all the standing, and I've been very active. Like even yesterday when I um went to the studio for the thing, um like the actual 2 hour session, we did a lot of like active poses and like actual like yoga stuff. Or yoga? Yeah, yoga. For some reason, it sounded weird when I said it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just wait and see. But okay. I'm gonna eat. This is a short one. I'll tell you how the rest of the day goes later. See ya. Bye. Hello. It is 5:15 and just got back from a nice walk. I think let's see. I think I left at like 1:30. So 1:30 took me like the the train subway stuff only takes about like 15-20 minutes each way. So we'll say 20 plus like maybe 10 minutes of standing. So we'll say an hour between both ways. So shaving off an hour means that I walked for about 2 hours, give or take. Well, 1:30 to 2:30 to 3:30 to 4:30. Yeah, like about 2-ish hours. Well, 2.5 hours. Yeah, something like that. Whatever. It was nice. I was really trying to do some like. I sat at their like special little garden that they were like cultivating. Um, the fountain wasn't working, but that's fine. I walked almost the entire length of the park. So at this point, that's a lot of walking. That plus like each like just to get to and from the subway, I'm doing like 20 minutes of walking each way. Because the total trip is like 40 minutes, but 20 of them are like walking to get to and get from. And then, I walked to Extra to go get my food. I got food. Today it is a vegan burrito. I'm not gonna do a cross section or anything, but I'll show you like the approximate size. That's like, that's a decent sized burrito. About like the length of a head. um. Anyway, so maybe next time, because tomorrow I could get a bowl instead. If I really like this, I can get this, but without the tortilla. So, but I don't know if that would just mean more plastic. So I don't know. At least this is tinfoil, and then this is paper. They gave me some napkins, which I'm not going to use, and they gave me. This is tragic. They gave me this. Told them that I didn't need any sauces, but or at least I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, um, throughout the walk, there definitely was like a struggle to stay in flow because I've been trying to practice not thinking and just flowing. Um, which is, like, to be honest, unless I'm like consciously trying to think, it's pretty easy for me to not have thoughts. But things do flitter through my mind, uh, especially if it's something that I'm like trying actively to not think about. It just like it loves to just pop up every once in a while, and like the like I just can't I can't get out of my head that like that feeling I felt with the person who was looking across the street from me. It's okay. So here's the thing. It wasn't about the person's looks. It was about the like soul penetration that I felt, where like the person saw me, not like I've talked a little bit about being an abyss in the past. This person saw me, like all of me. Um, and that like rarely, if ever, like I can't think of a time when that's ever really happened to me. So that's why it's like so. It's like I don't know. That's why I'm so hung up on it because it was like, yeah, no one's ever like seen me. So it kind of just like it's just lingering, which is why it's like that. That's why I'm like, oh man, like that totally could have just been the person. Um, but it's just like they're just not ready, right? Um, but like walking around, it's like I extra notice if someone has a similar build slash hairstyle slash whatever. Um, and I'm not even trying. Like I really am not. I'm genuinely trying to just relax on my own stuff, but it's so hard to like not just keep thinking about it. So yeah, so it was. I would say like maybe a third of my walk. I mean, probably less, but like what would happen? So I'll do the rundown on like I'm walking, and then someone with the person's hair color walks past me. And then that triggers the memory. And then I see the whole thing play out again. And then, which, by the way, just to be clear, I never do this. Like, if I want to like play something out, I have to construct it. Sometimes I can kind of like, it's like I can kind of try to like flow and let something show up, but it's not like super detailed. This is like a fucking color like video playing, and I'm like, if this is how people walk around all the time, no wonder everyone is fucking distracted. Because it is so hard to like continue going through the flow when this just pops into my fucking head again. um and it's not just like the it's like I can feel the feelings all over again. Like so the my so when it happened, and I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but when it happened, my inner child was like really shy. Like I could feel the shyness like coming out, like almost like blushing, like this, and I'm like, what is happening? And that's why I kept looking away and like looking around. I'm like, like I didn't understand. So yeah, so you can understand why I'm like so fucking hung up on this, because this is a very new thing for me. Um, and so something like so that will happen, and then I'll like focus on just letting go, relaxing, getting into the flow. I'm like feeling my like flow again and my rhythm, and then I'll look up and fucking I see it again because someone passes with the same color hair again. And I'm like, like, bro, I just got there again. Um, I feel fucking like hexed. Like that's like the level I'm at where I'm like, what the fuck? But like hexed in a good way. I don't know. Um, I don't know what would have been worse. Not having that experience and then basically just being like disappointed that I didn't run into the person, or having this experience and now knowing that there's something going on behind the scenes. Like it's oh god. I don't know. Um on a side note, I have totally like okay, I haven't figured it out, but I feel like I understand what my plans are for this like uh service, the free service for the first month that I'm gonna be doing. I don't know if I want to mention the other thing that I think I'm gonna offer people. Well, I kind of already alluded to it. I think what I might do is the main thing for now, and again, this could all change as I kind of understand more of what's going on. But here's my idea. I do. I'm thinking once or twice a day. I don't know how much I can handle, and I don't know how long it'll take. So I think what I'll do is I will offer the again. I haven't checked yet my emails, so it could be that there's no one, and I'll have to like advertise it somewhere. There could be that there's only a couple people. That's fine, whatever it is. But whoever is interested, I will also offer um, just some testing on if I have an actual healing ability or not, because I don't fucking know. um, like it's really hard for me to do it on myself. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm sure eventually I will figure it out, but for now I don't know. So what I was thinking is, since I'm already fucking testing the like intuition stuff with trying to help drill down into people with my sight, um, fuck it, like see if maybe on a case by case basis, like okay, hey, don't tell me like specifically, do not tell me what it is that if you have any pain or whatever, and let me just try and figure it out by trying to connect and then seeing that like person image that I'd seen a couple times. Um, because the way I kind of look at it, I'm not trying to necessarily get proof. What I'm trying to understand is I don't give a fuck if anyone thinks that this is real or not. Like I don't care. Um, what I do care about is my own personal understanding on what's actually going on. So if it's nothing, no problem. I'm not promising anything and it's free. So it's like, it's just taking up a little extra of your time, maybe like 10 extra minutes. Um, so, on the off chance that it actually does something, which again, I have no idea if it will, we'll just have to see. And I'll have to play around with like, I don't know, just like I'll have to just test and see what shows up. But and again, if the first person that I do it on is like I didn't feel shit, I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Check in with me in like a day or two, just to see. And I'll try it for a couple people, and if I'm consistently getting no results, and the check in is basically just nothing, like no one says anything, then I'm gonna have to really think about like, does it mean I have to do something else, or like, is the concept flawed? You know, I'm gonna try to be, without like literally being scientific, I'm gonna try to be as like rigorous test wise as possible to see what it is, what it can do, what it can't do. It's possible. It's like, oh well, it heals certain things. I don't know. So it could also just heal everything. So, but either way, the practical stuff. And I'm not saying this isn't practical, but it's more of like I'm less certain on what the second thing, the healing stuff is, but I'm very certain that talking to someone and I can just pinpoint what their problem is pretty fast. So, Yeah. And then I think the thing that will take a lot of time is not what it is, but it's how to go about healing it. That's what's going to be the harder part, where it's like, okay, well, if you have issues with a parent because the parent did something that hurt you as a child, um, that's going to be really hard. And so that's why I caution people, where it's like, you need to be ready to see some shit. I don't know what it's going to look like. Again, it could be just surface level stuff, but if there's fucking leviathans down there that I poke at, you need to be ready to like face the leviathan. Otherwise, this going to be pointless. So, um, really use your discernment of like, am I ready to truly change? And if you are ready to truly change, then I'm sure what I'm going to do to help you is probably going to be incredibly important for you. You're still going to have to do the work, but you're not going to be going in blind. At least you'll be like, okay, here's something I need to like start with. So anyway, I'm gonna eat the burrito. I'm gonna upload. I'm gonna watch some more tarot readings, and then I will say I've been really liking the readings as like a way of stabilizing at the beginning and end of the day. Obviously, not every message is going to be like all about like my own situation. But what I have found is there are a few specific readers that have slowly locked in on like my frequency. And so when they're doing readings, they tend to hit stuff around my frequency very often. And they do multiple readings a day, and I may only see one of them, which is another one of those things where it's like, I'm not just. I'm kind of using the algorithm as a means for divine kind of shenanigans to happen, where I literally sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna open my like base algorithm page, show me the most important message first, and then boom, I get the first message, which is most of the time it's someone that I know, but sometimes it is someone I don't know. And sometimes those are the ones that where I'm like, whoa, they are so spot on with what's going on. And then I never see them again. So it's like, um, but there's also been a few where I click on the video and I'm immediately like, ew, like, like I'm turned off by the whole thing. They seem like a nice person. There's nothing outwardly, but like the internal is like not okay with whatever is going on with them. And so I'm like, yep, I do not click on anything that shows up with them. And so that's where I've like kind of filtered to get a good basis. And I know this is weird, I also make sure not to subscribe to any of the people that I watch, because if you're subscribed, the algorithm will push those channels more than other channels. It already skews it because I watch them pretty often, but I try really hard to keep the my personal YouTube page like blank of all of this in terms of subs, so that I allow for the manipulation of the data in order to get things that are close to like what's going on with me, and it seems to be working out really well. Um, there's a lot of times when like the readers will mention very specific things, that like no one could have possibly known because I never talked to anyone about these things because it's something that just was very inconsequential that happened that day. And then they get mentioned, and I'm like, holy shit, like, wow. Uh, and it's like not one thing. Sometimes it's like three or four things where it's like, oh my gosh, oh, okay. Um, because, I've never communicated with any of these like readers or anything. So, and funny enough, the one or two that I did communicate with, because a while ago I did like I had two different tarot readings, um, but I never see them on my page, like almost ever, which is weird. You'd think I would, but I don't. Um, but yeah, I also just as a side kind of thing, I'm also just so sure that these like couple that I've been like continuously seeing pop up, they definitely have like real gifts. They're not like the stuff they channel is crazy sometimes how accurate it is. Um, but and I'm talking about specifics. I'm not talking about general like, oh, you're a man that is wearing a blue shirt. Nothing like that. Like so, yeah. I think maybe that's why I've been like tapped into them, and they're kind of tapped into my like energy field. Um, Now, obviously, like I said, um, I went on to because I was curious. I went on to one of the people that I watch pretty consistently, and it's like one out of every like 5 or 6 videos that they have, I will like watch. Sometimes it's like there will be days when I'll watch like 2 or 3 back to back, and then other times it's like I don't see them for like 4 days or 3 days, and I'm like, huh, what happened to them? I don't know. Um, so it's interesting. I've never clicked on any of the videos that I wasn't just like given directly by like, for lack of a better term, the like communication between me and the like spirit team, because that's what I think is going on. My spirit team goes, whispers some things to the people, or however the spirit team goes and interacts with them, and then they say things, and it's not like it's the whole reading. It's like sometimes I will zone out of a part of a reading because I'm like, this is not for me. And then there will be something that someone says and I'll lock the fuck in, and then that part of the reading is what I was supposed to hear. And I'm like, okay, got it. Um so yeah. Uh but I do find that any of the readings I do click on, there's always at least one thing that is supposed to be like mentioned. Um and I've been thinking about like how interesting it would be to try and do it myself with like actual tarot, but I think the problem, I don't know if I'd trust myself. And I think that's, again, part of the thing is I need to build confidence in my own stuff. But also, I don't want to sell myself short, but I'm just unsure, I guess. Maybe I'll dabble with it sometime in the future. But um, yeah, for now, this is the best I've got. it works. It's janky, but it works. um, I'm kind of wondering if, like, maybe. Hmm. I don't know. I was thinking about what if I. Sorry, the fucking. I just had, like, a quick jaunt of a wandering thought where I was like, what if on Tuesday when I fly, the person who sits next to me is the person I saw across the street? I'm like, fucking goddamn it, dude! Like, oh my gosh, this it's like my mind just really wants to, like, make sense of what was going on there. It's just like, oh god, my burrito's getting lukewarm at this point. Okay, well, I guess my point. I don't. Fuck. I lost my whole train of thought. I'm so sad. All right. Well, I mean, I guess if it's important, it'll pop back up. But I think overall, the system works, and I would like to learn of a better way to connect. But there's something that isn't quite working. Um, because I don't know if it's like, I don't know if you have to have a specific, like, gift of some kind to hear, like, voices, but, like, that would be nice, like, to actually hear voices, which sounds weird because, um I'm not saying I would like to suddenly go schizophrenic. That's not what I'm talking about. And just to be clear, I'm not saying any of the people who do, like, channel and hear voices are schizophrenic. That's not what I'm saying. So just to be clear. Um, but what I'm kind of more referring to is, like, I'm not trying to just have, like, voices in my head all the time that are, like, talking to me. I'm not interested in that. What I'm more talking about is, like, getting into a certain headspace, like the channelers do, or the tarot readers, or whatever you want to call them, because it's largely like they're opening a channel to, like, hear stuff. Um, oh my gosh, the sun was out for a while, and then suddenly the clouds just enveloped it. That's crazy. Because I felt the sun, like, leaving, and I'm like, what happened? Um, but yeah, basically, I would like to be able to have some sort of channel, for lack of a better term, where I can more easily understand what's going on up there. Or I say up there, whatever's going on wherever the spirit team is. Um, I don't know. Like, it would just make things easier, wouldn't it? Like, maybe it'd make things harder, and that's why I have the void kind of in my head protecting me from having any of that. Because obviously, if you open a channel, the channel can be used by anything. Theoretically, I'm not saying it does, but there's a whole other host of things that I would have to do to protect myself by having something like that. So, having this void over my mind space does help a lot to mitigate like a lot of things. So I think if I had the choice between hearing voices all the time and not hearing voices at all, I'd rather have the void. So, um, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I guess this is the last message. I have a little bit of a headache. I think maybe I need to drink a little more water and get some food. So, alrighty then. Have a good night. See you all tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys. So I just got. It's the Sorry, It's March 22nd at 6:02 p.m. I just got finished like eating my food, and I felt like the trip's coming to a close soon. Tomorrow's the last day that I get to go and do things. And I kind of wanted to do a little recap. I don't even know if recap's the right word. I wanted to mention something really important that I think I've only sorry, there's the lampshade is like just in the worst position. Okay, there we go. It's better. Um I realized a lot of things throughout this trip, but probably the most important thing is the trust that I'm giving myself. Trusting that, like, I'm not perfect, but I sure as hell am a lot more trusting of myself than I was when I got here. And I think also this change in the way that I interact with negative thoughts and positive thoughts or obsessive thoughts. And I think it's really important to understand that each thought that comes your way, it's really important to correct any thoughts that you think are not you or are like doubt, um, negative connotation relative to yourself. So, like, someone might think, like, I'm small, and to them, that's a negative thing. But to someone else, they use that as an empowering thing. I'm small, so that's actually big. That's like a huge advantage for me. So, it's not the thought itself, it's what the connotation of the thought is that really matters. So, you know, you can't run away from yourself. You just can't. And I think I'm going to drag this closer, actually, so that I can lean a little bit back. There we go. I think maybe being a little bit closer is fine. Anyway, uh, as you can see, I get a little distracted sometimes. Um, I'm just trying to see what fits best with this, but you know, if you're constantly thinking a certain thought, you you start to believe that thought. This is kind of where like brainwashing comes in. And I don't mean it in like a you should be brainwashed. That's not what I'm saying. But you can brainwash yourself positively or negatively, or neutrally. Most people are probably in the neutral zone where sometimes they do some negative thoughts, sometimes they do some positive thoughts, and whatever. But it's really easy when everything around you is negative because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of everything's negative. I'm not doing anything to change my situation. And so I'm continuing to wallow in the same amount of misery that I was in yesterday. And you just kind of sit there. It's like a black hole. Once you've sucked yourself into the black hole, um, you either get compressed and like evolve into something new under that compression, or you just sit there and do nothing. Um, and getting out of the black hole is incredibly hard. I've done it many times on this like journey I've taken. Like, I don't know. There's probably like double digit times of getting out of this black hole. So like I know how hard it is. And I know that it all comes back to the mind. It is the mind. It's the thoughts we think every day. It's the things of like, it doesn't matter. You're not good enough. It's these types of thoughts. I'm not going to list them all because we could go on endlessly, right? And so when you think these thoughts, you will in fact believe yourself that this is how you are when that's not the case. And so something I've been doing actively, if a negative thought shows up, and I've basically cleared out all the negative thoughts about me specifically, the only thing that's kind of left is some doubt around like if I'm doing the right thing. But that comes back to like um adding and stacking more belief in myself, which I have been doing a lot of during this trip. I've been taking different trains. I've been experimenting with different routes. Like for an example, there was a train that I hadn't taken before, and I was like, I could wait an extra like 5 minutes for this one train, or I could take this train because the the Google like mapping system said I could take either to get to the place. And I've been really working on just like doing the different stuff. Um, there was I got to the front of the front car where the like engine is for the train, and I got to see out in front today for the first time, which was cool. Although there were some people that were kind of blocking it, and I was a little annoyed, but like at the same time, it's like, what can you do? They're obviously not here to just like look at the train going forward, right? Um, and I think they thought I was looking at them because they were kind of just like they literally had like perfect like blocking of the one window that I could see. So whatever. But the the thing was, um I wouldn't have had that experience. Maybe I could have had it with the other train, but I realized why the two trains are the way they are and why they go to the same place. One is an express train that only goes to the important stops where there's a lot of people, and so it's faster. The other train is a slower train that hits every stop. So I was like, oh, now I understand why it's called blah 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 express, because it is literally an express train that goes to like 3 or 4 stops instead of the 12 that I went through. So that was cool. And I didn't look it up. I just found out myself. And it's like, that's cool that I just found it out. And like obviously I could have looked it up and I could have understood, but I like the organicness with which I've been doing things, where I'm like, well, why can't I do both? I don't know. Let's just find out. Um, and then sometimes like listening to my intuition on like, okay, like the signs don't say what the app is saying or what the phone is saying. Let's look around to see if there's any indication of what actually is like going on here. And then I look around for the signs, and then I look across the way and I see a sign that says what I was looking for, and I'm like, oh, it's on the other side of the tracks. So then I go around and get to the other side. Um, and like I could have just head with my or chicken with my head cut off, like go into the train, realize panic and realize that I'm on the wrong train, then get out at the next stop, then panic and say, oh, what am I doing and whatever. But like I just trusted myself. I just sat down and I trusted, and I believed that I would get home either way. And so I did. It was slower, but that's okay. Now I know for next time. Um, so Right. So getting back to, I went on a tangent, and the reason I went on this tangent is because believing in yourself is very powerful. If you don't believe in yourself and you doubt everything, then the things you do try to do will inevitably have barriers that you yourself are putting up. Um, Here's an example. I believed that my intuition would know which hotel to go to. Now, I'm telling you, I had no knowledge of any of New York, okay? I just knew where the location for the like yoga thing was, the Equinox yoga thing, but I had no clue about any other part of New York. I watched a reading before we were getting on the plane. The reading was like uh Queens. That's an important thing. It was like Queen Anne specifically. And I was like, huh. I still don't know what the Anne part was for. Maybe it was for someone else, so I don't know. But Queen was really important for me because I decided I'm just going to block out the Queens section of New York and then pick a spot in Queens. And then my intuition was like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I stayed in a hotel with the name of the milk that I drank? That was it. That was the only reason I'm staying at this hotel. Okay. Um, and I'll tell you, just on the corner, literally like 2 seconds away from the hotel, is an amazing food place. And guess what I was worried about the most on my trip? Whether I was going to be able to eat like all my veggies, get some proteins that are like at least vegetarian, if not vegan. And I was really worried about the food stuff. They had my back every single day. They had awesome food, aside from the one day where they had the beans that had the chicken like bone in it. Okay. But even then, like, I still ate it, and it was like, okay, like, I'm just not going to get the beans again if I see bone in it. I didn't really realize. Um, and I had already like doled out a thing on my plate, so I couldn't just like stuff it back. So it was like, okay, well, lesson learned. But yeah, so like, and again, I've been trying like different like okay, obviously I'm not trying anything crazy, but I'm going to different restaurants every day to try and like just get some food that like seems reasonable or interesting or whatever. Sometimes they've been hits, sometimes they've been misses. The like um I think it was a Japanese restaurant that had like clearly they used fish with their like making their omelet. So I haven't gone back. Was it a good omelet? I mean, it was okay. There was a lot of fish taste in there that I was not really a big fan of. And to be fair, I do like fish, but even then, I was just kind of like, like you know, I understand what's going on here. But yeah, so on this journey, the very like even just getting on the plane was me trusting both in myself, my intuition, and in the like spiritual guidance I was getting. If I didn't trust myself, I wouldn't have gone on that plane. And guess what? The plane was a great experience. I enjoyed myself the whole ride. Like, I thought I was going to have all sorts of problems riding on the plane with like anxiety and everything. It was fucking fine. Everything was fine. Um, I've also, I've been slowly working on getting better at like the height thing, where like I used to not be able to even look out the window in like really high buildings. Now I'm fine. The thing that's hard for me now is when there's only a tiny railing separating me from a large like drop. That's when I'm still like not okay with that. Um, but that's a huge improvement, and I've just been slowly working on it. Um, but anyway, so my point with all of this is you have to trust yourself. And in order to trust yourself, you have to heal the negative thoughts that you have that are circling in your head. And how do you do that? The way you do that is you start with one negative thought that keeps popping up. So we'll say, I'm not good enough. Okay. Every time the I'm not good enough shows up, you correct it kindly. You say, now wait a minute. I am, in fact, good enough. Do you want to know why I'm good enough? And then you list a reason. Doesn't have to be, it can be anything. Anything that makes you feel good and makes you feel certain that you are, in fact, enough as you are. And if you don't have a reason, you need to find one. So you need to write down, like, why do you not feel like you're enough, or that you know, you do the thing to really dig down into why. And again, this is kind of shadow work, but it's doing it indirectly, where it's hitting a thought as opposed to like the core issue. Uh, but they're just as helpful because sometimes you can remove the bottom like core issue, but then the upper thoughts still are there because they're like programmed and they're running on loop, right? So you can remove the tape recorder that recorded those sayings and it can just still loop. So you got to fix, I say fix, you got to heal those thoughts and change them. And the way you change them is by replacing them with a positive thought. And whatever, if it says I'm not good enough, you need to say I am good enough for X reason. If it says I'm too fat, you need to say I'm the weight that, I don't know, like helps me keep warm, or something that like you can say to yourself. Now, I'm not saying you should like try and intentionally brainwash yourself into something you don't believe in. Okay, so it only works if you believe what you're saying. And if you can't figure out a reason, well, maybe there is something that you need to work on. You know, I'm not going to pretend that those things don't come out of like nowhere. Like, there's a reason why you think the way you do. It may be a bad reason or a reason that you can easily change, but it could be a reason steeped in some sort of like um, pattern of behavior where it's like, okay, well, like if you go through a pattern of like you verbally like yell at someone and then you say, "Oh, I'm just so mean." Well, okay, like maybe there's a reason why you're thinking that. Maybe you should stop yelling at the person and then say, "No, I'm not mean because I'm not yelling at the person." Maybe you were mean, but now you're not, right? So it's all of these little things that add up. And that's what I've been learning on this trip, is to really keep my thoughts in a kind state where I'm kind to myself and I'm kind to those around me. Where like, okay, this feels a little embarrassing to say, but each time I get on one of the subway trains, regardless of how full it is, I center myself and I say to myself, I love everyone on this train. And I know that everyone here, they all deserve to be loved. And so I want them to be loved, at least by me. And I know that this train is protected from any shenanigans that could happen. And you know what? Never had a problem on a train. There's been a few weird, like there's been a few times when someone's a little bit, weird, or like when that one guy, he just kind of like he got on and he got his head bumped by someone, and he was like really upset about it. But you know what? They didn't start a fight with each other, and he calmed down. Is that my doing? Who knows? But it doesn't hurt for me to love these people, whoever they are, you know. And if you just hold kind thoughts internally, people can feel that, even if they're not conscious of feeling whatever it is. Maybe to them it's like, oh, you know, maybe things aren't too bad today. Or, you know, maybe they feel an extra little bit of warmth or something very small. And you could never know that any of those people felt things like that. Because maybe, you know, you're thinking happy thoughts, then maybe someone else is thinking happy thoughts too. And it's kind of like the more people in the world that are being loving and kind to everyone that they interact with, you know, the better the world will just be in general. You know, we see all of the fear mongering from the news and from our feeds. Bro, I haven't, like, the first time I heard anything about Trump or um, politics was when some guy was blasting it in the park today. And I was a little annoyed. I was like, I don't want to hear about this. Like, and I'm not trying to actively avoid it, but it's just annoying because it's like, bro, I'm just trying to, like, out here vibe and be one with nature. And you're like literally just blasting the news at like max volume. Like, it's very irresponsible of you. Um, and then he stopped like almost immediately. And I was like, great. Okay, good. Um, and also, you can kind of carry this over to like things like like you heard how I talked about this person. I didn't say I hate this person. I didn't say fuck this guy. I said he was being irresponsible based on the place he was at. Still, like, I didn't even consciously try and like phrase it that way. That's just how I phrase things because I'm not trying to attack people. Even if they disagree with me, even if they don't like necessarily like, you know, if they do something that I don't like, I can still be kind to them. Um, and you know, I'll say one of the things that has been really I've been really struggling with is the roommate situation. Actually, the more away I've been from them, the more I can kind of see how dysfunctional the like the situation was, and how sure I am that I'm not going to be signing that lease again. Because it's like I just can't. Um, it's really hard to live in a place where you constantly get bombarded by negativity. And like, you know, the few times that so an example, I haven't opened the group chat that we have all week because I don't want to like I don't want to let that in. I can just feel. So I don't know if I wanted to like talk about this, but it's like I can feel this false concern. And what I mean by that is there's almost like a panic that I am leaving because everyone knows at this point that I'm not going to be signing a lease, or at least that I've said I'm not. They don't actually know if I'm going to follow through. But yeah. So the two people who are like totally vibes with me and are like really nice, they were like, hey, hope you have a great trip. And that was in stark contrast to, hey, so I just wanted to make sure you didn't die. Uh, did you find your hotel? You know, and it's like it's almost like, yeah, I don't believe that you found your hotel. Yeah, I don't believe that you're okay. Um, and it was so negative. I was like so turned off by it. I was like, ew, like what the fuck. Um, and so I got annoyed. I was like, why are you calling me? Like, and then he was like, because, well, I just wanted to make sure that you're okay and that you haven't gotten stabbed. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is not how a friend like interacts with someone, where they're like, hey, hope you didn't get stabbed, but in case you did, I wanted to know about it so I could be right. It's like that's the energy I was feeling. And it was just gross. And I'm like, ew. Like, why are you saying it that way? And then I thought about, like, he's kind of always just been like this, just for as long as I've known him. And before, I kind of shrunk down and I didn't really care, and I just kind of ha ha, like, yeah, sure, you know, um, and I didn't really have any self worth, and I did a lot of like negative self talk, so it was like we were in a similar wavelength. And so we all meshed well because that was just part of like the in joke stuff. But now it's like, no, I do not accept this negative line of thought. And I do not accept it at all. And in fact, it grosses me out that you'd even say that to me. And so, I got off the call pretty much immediately. Like as soon as like I'm like, yep, I'm fine, it's actually great. Okay, bye. And that was it. Um and then my intuition was telling me, because I didn't hear anything for 2 days, and then I got a text from one of my other roommates, and my gut was screaming at me that, or my intuition was screaming at me that this was not that roommate texting it, and that it was in fact the same roommate who has the negative comments, where because I didn't give him a reaction, and I didn't give him what he wanted, he went to the other roommate to get more information out of me, uh, in a manner that he thought maybe would like be less intrusive. And I'm like, nope, I'm not even going to open that. So I just still haven't opened it. They'll know how my trip went when I came back, or when I come back, but I'm not going to let that ruin my trip. Um, and also, to be honest, they can't fucking ruin my trip. Like, they, I say that, but it would just take an extra couple minutes of me kind of cleansing my thoughts of like the interaction. It almost kind of reminds me. And I know I just went and talked about, like, not talking bad about roommates or about people in general. And so I just want to be clear. What I'm talking about is the energy, not the person. There's a difference. Someone can give very negative energy to you, even if they're a really nice person, because internally, they're just not okay. And so it exudes externally. That's what I'm talking about. I love my roommates. I wish that I could help them get through. They all are very similar in this doomer mentality. That's why they've all collected together. They've known each other for a long time. They've always had this dynamic. And then when I got added, like, I got introduced, and like it was a whole thing. And I was very grateful that I was able to become a part of their group. But in the process, I got inducted into this like negative like thought loop, and these negative like energies that were very draining. And I can see how, like, even when I'm on a train with, you know, like packed to the brim, I'm not even close to as tired as just interacting with that one friend who's like super negative. And he thinks he's sneaky. I see that, like, he is effectively the ringleader when it comes to this negativity. Like, I can see it because the other two don't really talk the way he does. Um, and so, you know, again, I care about him, but I can see he's very deep in the depression hole, and he's not willing to change himself, or at least he wasn't. I think part of my kind of transformation has rubbed off on him in some ways, where he's been starting to take care of his body more. He's been starting to do other things that are very positive. So I'm really happy that he is changing. It's just, unfortunately, I'm not going to be around for him to work through all of that, because that's going to take him years to really like work through it all at the pace he's going. Not saying it's a bad pace, but I got way too much shit to do to like allow that energy to be around me while he's like figuring it out. Um, so yeah, so going back to what I was saying, um, I kind of view it, the energy again, as kind of this like sludge that accumulates on my like outer barriers that protect the internal peace I have. And the sludge just kind of sits there and it kind of piles up. And then after I'm done interacting, I just got to wipe it off, you know, like I gotta clear the energy. Um, so that's what I was saying when I'm like, it's not going to ruin my like trip, but it is annoying to just occasionally have a stray thought of like, you know, like I can see the roommate is like, okay, I'll just say it almost feels like they're not even my thoughts or my energy. It's like he's sending energy to me while thinking about me, and that energy is negative energy that I just, or just energy that I just, it's too heavy. I don't want it. It's not energy I want to like associate with myself. Um, and just also to be clear, I don't think him or any of the other roommates are doing this intentionally. I don't think they even understand the concept of energy as a thing. So like I can see it clear as day now. Where you asked me a year ago if I was to believe that energy was a thing, I'd be like, oh yeah, probably. I don't know. But now it's like I can feel the difference. energetically between someone who is like really on, like okay, I'm gonna go on another tangent here, so I apologize. So when I was at that 2 hour yoga thing with for the equinox, there were two moments when I felt everyone in the room, their energy all linking up with mine and us forging something together. And it was very powerful. It was fucking insane. And I'm pretty sure everyone else felt it too. Um, it was like, so I don't know if anyone watching this has ever done um, these like breathing techniques, like the like, well, there's a few, but the one that I'm specifically thinking of is like, I think it's called like breath of fire or something, where you have your mouth closed and you do this like from your like chest, you go like that, and it's like you're breathing through your nose and you're pushing this like breath, and it basically um along with like doing specific, like they were we were doing like that while we were doing some hand signs, uh and it was like it was a whole thing. Honestly, it was really cool. But we literally got like this massive surge of energy. It was like waves, and it was all, it started like it started from my body and then it extended out and I could feel it past my body, where it was like I was like I had like tendrils in the air that I was feeling the wave, and I could feel like the person next to me, and like I could feel like all of our energies kind of like mingling a little bit to like go through this like thing. And it happened twice. And I definitely think like, wow, that was an incredible like experience, to be able to link up like that. And I had never experienced anything like that. I had done some techniques on my own, and I got a little freaked out when I felt the energy outside of me like that. So I stopped. But now I understand that it's like the energy expanding and allowing my awareness to follow the energy and start intermingling. So, anyway, again, once you understand and feel that type of energy, it's like it's actually something. And for people who haven't, I would recommend going to try and see if you can maybe try with yourself. I'm not gonna suggest any specific techniques because I'm not very well versed in that. And there is plenty of people out there that you can learn from. But yeah, keep an open mind and just, if you're interested, just take a look. You know. Um, but I don't know. I think when you start tapping into a lot of this stuff, you begin to see other layers that do affect us on a physical standpoint that we hadn't really been noticing when we weren't aware. And when you start realizing that there's a lot that can affect you, where, you randomly feel dizzy and tired, and you're like, where did that come from? I got good rest, I did this, I did that. Well, maybe there's something energetically that hit you, and that's why you're feeling that way. But if you didn't even know that the energy hit you in the way it did, you'd just be confused. And then you'd like sleep it off and it'd probably be fine most of the time. And that's how most people just live, is they live, well, if it's not physical, then it doesn't exist. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, if you want to live that way, that's fine. Out of all the possible ways to live, that is, I mean, it makes sense, because you can't really like prove the existence of it without you physically feeling it. And you can't just go around to every single person who doesn't believe and be like, okay, well, now it's your turn. You got to feel the energy, um, so yeah. But anyway, I don't really know how to really wrap this up, other than to say that your your mind, just as I was talking about the energy, your mind warps reality around you from an internal to external. That's what I've been practicing. So as you see me progressing over time, and I've changed a lot from day one up to now, I've changed like maybe 10 plus times or more. Honestly, there was like a week or two where every day I was changing. Um, Having new understandings, having new awakenings, having new this. And so I think it's important to watch what your mind says. That's the first step. Maybe just write it down. And then, once you've written, maybe spend a day. You just write down every thought that you have about yourself. You can do the thing with other people later, but you first want to work on your internal self and what you think about yourself. You write it down, and then you look at it. And this is a conglomeration of an average day of what you think about yourself. And really sit with it and look. If there's a lot of negative stuff there, chances are you are going through a lot of struggling, difficult times, because when we're negative, we attract negativity and negative experiences. It's just kind of how it works. I don't know what else to tell you. And I'm not talking about this fake positivity where it's like, "Oh, I'm the best. I'm so good." No. I'm talking about grounded, what am I actually proud of? What am I actually like good at? If you're good at painting and you say you suck at painting, like, and everyone says you're good at painting, but you keep saying you suck at painting, like, maybe your painting would be so much better if you just said, you know what, maybe I am good at painting. Because, and look, you don't have to heal yourself right away. But, start with like, one thing. And it's like, okay, well, going back to the painting example, well, okay, what evidence do I have to support that I'm bad at painting? You write it down. Write down whatever comes to your mind. And if you realize there's nothing, or maybe you're like, well, I don't like that I can't do straight lines. and my circles are odd and off because they aren't perfect circles. And I don't like that sometimes my color choices are not exactly the way I want them to be. And then you go and you list the positives of, okay, well, this person said that I was a good painter. I won this award for being the best in show. Then I won this award for doing whatever. I got like 10 commissions that all sold for $1,000. Da 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 da. I've been painting for like 15 years. I've learned so much. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Suddenly, you're like, holy crap! I actually am really good at painting, and I'm just nitpicking because I want to be better. And it's okay to want to be better, but don't put yourself down just because you want to be better. You can be better and be good. Like you can be a good painter and still get better at painting. It's not limited to, well, I can only be better at painting if I'm bad at painting, right? So, it's just stuff like that. And it will make a difference. Like you'll see, you got to just build yourself up. Stop tearing yourself down. Stop making yourself small. And if people don't like that you're being good to yourself, fuck them. They're probably not people you should be associating with to begin with. Um, you know, or that you've just grown out of like the friendships or the relationships or the whatever, right? Um, I sigh because it's just so hard to really explain how monumental this is. Just as I say, the shadow work is really crucial. The self talk is so crucial as well. It's crucial to your confidence. It's crucial to trusting yourself. It's crucial to knowing what you actually want and desire. Um, it's understanding both your strengths and weaknesses and then working to heal the weaknesses or improve them such that maybe they're not weaknesses anymore. Um, it's about like standing up for yourself. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, no one else is. No one's going to come in your mind and say, hey, that's not okay. I'm standing up for you. No one's going to do that. You have to do that. So, I don't know. I I hope this message makes sense for you guys. I really do hope that you guys learn something because I don't know. I'm really grateful that I've been tracking what I have been. Uh, because I don't think anyone would believe me if I was to say, "Hey, did you know that in February, on February 1st, I was this way?" They'd be like, "No fucking way." um, so yeah, and I still think extending this out to like the end of the year, oh my goodness, like this is gonna be so crazy. Like I genuinely, I just know people are not gonna believe what I've experienced. Like the fact that I'm just like taking recordings. I think this is why I have to be so genuine and like not edit. If I do edit, it's because I fucking doxed myself. But like just being myself and explaining the process, explaining my like struggles as they come, because I know it's going to be really hard for people to accept what the end result's going to look like. They're going to be like, this is totally fake. It's like, no, it's not fake. I've been filming myself every day. So, like, uh, you can say what you want about my struggles, but fake is not one of them. Um, and yeah, I just like, I just know that this is going to help someone or a lot of people, maybe. Um, I also do think that there's going to be a lot more eyes on my stuff that I've been putting out there. Um, I don't know when it's going to happen. I kind of suspect when my other half. I hate saying other half because it's implying that I'm only half a person. So my counterpart that is also kind of on a similar journey. Um, I think when we start like working together, I think it's going to be crazy. Like the amount of stuff that will get done, it's like I know I can't even understand or fathom what it's going to look like. Um, so, so I'm not going to try, but like I get this like deep gut feeling that even a year from now, it's people are just going to be like, what the fuck happened? Like, how? Um, so yeah, for any of you that have been watching me either from the beginning or, um, found my channel around the time that I'm posting these things, it's like you guys are some of the young new guys that like are gonna become the old. Hey, I remember watching this guy when he first showed up with 2 viewers, So, um, so yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Not really sure what I'm going to title this guy, but yeah, who knows? All right. See ya in the next one. Bye.